Hello there, viewers. Um, Sorry I haven't been uploading at all for like the longest time ever. I just wanted to try and post something kind of like, well, right now, just kind of turned over to, kind of just changed over to the next day. But, it's 4 minutes past the day that I wanted to do this live stream on. But, yeah, viewer discretion is advised, for the next, stuff that I'm going to say. If y'all are at all uncomfortable about what I have to say, just want to let you know it's, all of what has happened to me in the past and the present, and hopefully, I'm hoping that I have a better future. But yeah, what has happened in the past since I haven't uploaded since, like, I want to say, when was my last upload? I want to say my last upload was my last real upload. It was probably, I want to say, like, a few gaming videos or something like that. But, like, my latest upload that, like, I uploaded, I don't know, maybe, like, not that long ago, but, like, just ignore the past few uploads, or, like, the last 2 uploads, if I remember correctly. But, my last real upload that I had uploaded was, I forgot what it was, but, yeah, what I have to say is, if I remember correctly, what ended up happening for me, in the past was, a lot of things that ended up happening in the past, and currently I'm going through some stuff, like today, and, well, like, honestly, the past few months has been really, really hard for me. Like, life is life, and, I try and get through it, and it's kind of really difficult sometimes, like, to continue on living every day. But, what ended up happening since, like, my last few uploads, like, why I've not been uploading forever, has been a difficult time for me. And what ended up happening for me was I ended up making a few uploads, like, I forgot what it was, but either way, what ended up happening after, like, a few of my uploads, like, why I've not been really uploading at all, like, any content for, like, the past year or, like, 2 years, is because I have been severely depressed. And the thing is that, yeah, I really, really held this all in for, like, a while, because, yeah, it's a lot of tough things. I'm not at all, like, mad about what I've gone through, but I mean, everything that I've gone through, like, I shouldn't have ever went through in the first place. But yeah, what ended up happening after like a few of my uploads is that, yeah, honestly, I don't know if I should even mention that, but, kind of like right after I ended up going, I forgot what it was, where I had done, like, when I had gotten my driver's permit, like, this is gonna be a little bit of an involved video, but, yeah, what ended up happening was, my parents have been divorced since, like, I was 3, and one of the things is that, yeah, one of the things that honestly sucks about that is that my parents have shared custody over me, and so I've went over to my dad's house and to my mom's house week after week, and one of the hardest things is that, yeah, what ended up happening is that, yeah, a lot of things that my dad has said to me and, like, physically said to me and physically done to me has been really, really difficult to process and to really kind of say out loud. Like, it's really hard for me to even do this right now. And what ended up happening is that, this is really hard to say. But, yeah, my dad was, verbally, physically, and emotionally abusive to me. And the thing is that, yeah, what ended up happening was I ended up going through a severe amount of depression after, like, a few things that my dad had ended up saying to me. And it just really made me question if he at all loved me at all. And the thing is that, after that, after he's said, like, a lot of things that you should never say to your son, like, he ended up telling me, like, as a kid, like, this was really hard for me to even end up going through, but, as a kid, I wanted to become a Boy Scout. And one of the things is that this was, like, when I was probably, like, 5 or 7 years old, like, 5 to, like, 7 years old. I wanted to become a Boy Scout, and what ended up happening was that, like, I ended up wanting to become a Boy Scout because there was, like, a meeting, that I was going to go to for, Boy Scout tryouts. And what ended up happening was that, when I ended up telling my dad about it, he ended up saying, "Oh, you don't want to do that. Most Boy Scout leaders are child predators or child molesters." And that really, I want to say, shook me up as a kid. And because, I mean, it was something that I had as a dream. And my dad ended up saying that, like, he ended up saying that to me. And of course, like any kid would do, like, I decided to ask, what do you mean by that? Like, what is a child predator or child molester, and he ended up describing in detail what that meant. And yeah, he ended up saying that, like, oh, whenever, like, it becomes nighttime and the boys go to bed in their tents, that the Boy Scout leaders would decide to go into the tents with the boys and decide to touch them. And the thing is that, like, it really hurt me internally to end up, like, having a dream like that. That as a kid, I wanted to become a Boy Scout. And the thing is that, yeah, to just end up having that be just dumped on to, like, a 5 or 7 year old kid, it's just difficult to process, and it kind of left a little bit of a emotional scar. Along with another thing that my dad ended up doing to me as a kid, since I have ADHD, and ADHD is a really difficult thing to have, because, like, right now, I'm kind of, like, fidgeting right now. I'm kind of struggling to talk right now. Because I think either my legs are pulsating right now, because I can't stay still, or, like, I don't know why with ADHD. I think it's a possibility of anxiety mixed in with it. But yeah, it's really hard to end up focusing on a lot of things. And so whenever it comes down to the divorce, like, between my mom and dad, like, I had to take ADHD medication. So I don't remember what I was ending up taking when I was between the ages of 10 to 12 years old. But I remember this clearly when it was my 5th grade graduation trip, and we ended up going to Disneyland. And the thing is that we were in a rental car, and I had to take my medication via, like, a drink or something like that. And so I remember this vividly, where I ended up having to drink, like, hot chocolate or something like that from Starbucks. And so what ended up happening is that I poured hot chocolate into my mouth, and I ended up having to open up the pill into, or, like, the capsule into my mouth. And so what ended up happening was I ended up pouring a little bit more hot chocolate into my mouth. And what ended up happening was it ended up overflowing out to the sides of my mouth. And it ended up getting onto the car, the rental car. And of course, what does my dad decide to say? He says either it was "damn it, son," or some shit like that, immediately. Like, and he ended up saying to me to stop being a princess. And later on, because the thing was that he assumed that he didn't know that it had overflowed out of my mouth. He just assumed that I didn't like the taste of it. And so that's why he said for me to stop being a princess and all this other garbage. And what he ended up doing was he ended up, like, yelling at me and all this crap. And what he ended up saying to me was really hurt me. He just ended up saying absolutely nothing to me for like most of the car ride. And it was like probably like a 15-minute car ride, bare minimum. And what ended up happening was is he ended up saying for me to stop being a pussy because he thought that I didn't like the taste of my meds in my mouth. And that really hurt me as a kid because the thing is that I ended up yelling at him later on, like once we finally got to the park, because he just assumed full-heartedly that I was just like not liking the taste of it in my mouth, and he didn't even give me the opportunity to explain why it had overflowed. And the thing was is that like I ended up explaining this to a therapist and everything. And the thing is, honestly, therapy doesn't even really work. Therapy doesn't really work at all. This is honestly the only way how I'm actually able to even like say anything about this. And the thing is that this will be set in stone, because the thing is that what I ended up going through, I shouldn't have ever went through. And what ended up happening as a kid for me was I ended up forgetting to make my dad a birthday card or something like that. And I think it was 8th grade. And what ended up happening is he ended up, what he ended up doing was he ended up, he ended up saying to me that, he ended up saying to me after I forgot to make him a birthday card that, like, what he ended up doing was he ended up going through like a bunch of boxes full of memories, photos, books, and all this kid stuff that I ended up like that we ended up having in our garage. And he ended up going through all this in more of just a rage or more of just an angry fit just to prove a point. And it wasn't at all that he was doing any of this cleaning up for any other reason. Because what he ended up saying to me while he was doing all that was, "Do these mean nothing to you?" And that really hurt me as a kid. And I believe I was less than 14 when he had said that to me. And another thing that really, really hurt, when I was in 9th grade, so freshman year of high school, I had to do a Spanish project, and it had to be a Flipgrid. And so basically, like, I'm trying not to end up showing this at all to you guys, but honestly, whenever it comes down to me being like online or something like this, like I end up being like kind of not necessarily terrified, but I don't know why my heart just, I want to say, just makes me feel anxious. I don't know why, but what ended up happening is that I ended up having to do a whole Spanish project, and let's just be honest, I'm an American. I don't understand Spanish that well. And so when it ended up coming down to the Spanish project, I ended up making the Spanish project, but it was the Flipgrid that I struggled with. Because even right now, I'm partially struggling to express myself or to state things clearly and vocally. And the thing is that what ended up happening is that I ended up working on the Flipgrid for about 9 hours. 9 hours. And the thing is that this was, I remember this date. Wait, I remember not the date itself, but the day. It was a holiday. It was Labor Day 2020. And what ended up happening is that I ended up being at my dad's, having to complete this project before, I think it was the end of the next day. It was either the end of the next day or it was the end of that day. And what ended up happening I ended up getting through most of the project, like the Flipgrid, and I was struggling to pronounce it. I was struggling to pronounce Spanish words, and what ended up happening is I was on, like, probably the last bits and pieces of it, because I had requested for my dad's help on how to pronounce things, and the thing is that, what ended up happening this ended up scarring me, because it really kind of, I want to say, destroyed any trust that I had in my dad, because after he decided to do this, it really kind of hurt me, really, in a really bad way, because it destroyed any, I want to say, good image of my dad. And what ended up happening is I ended up pronouncing a word apparently incorrect, and my dad went in and said, cut that, and ended up saying to me that, come on, son, you're better than this. And he just ended up, like, that was either what he ended up saying to me, or it was something along the lines of something to either motivate me or something garbage like that. And what he ended up saying to me was not what he ended up saying to me, but after I ended up screwing up on, like, the last little bit of it, while I was recording, not while I was recording that I got it, but it was right after I finished recording the portion and had to get rid of it, or had to clip out the portion where I had screwed up. And the thing is that what my dad ended up doing was he ended up slapping me across the face. And yeah, that really destroyed any level of trust that I had in my dad. And when that happened to me, like, this was a while back, but, like, I've tried to, like, I think my mind, like, just really held all this in from you viewers, but, like, it's sad that I have to say all this right now, because, I mean, the thing is that I'm telling you guys this because the fact that this is all stuff that ends up leading to the biggest problem that happened with me. And the thing is that that really destroyed every little amount of trust that I had in my dad. And what he ended up doing after he slapped me is, here's the part that I don't even remember, but I remember that he said both sayings. I don't remember which order. I can't remember which order he had said it in, but I remember him saying either I'm sorry first. I can't really remember if he said I'm sorry first or don't tell your mom. And the thing is that really hurts as a kid, because I was probably, let's see, it was 2020. Yeah, I was 15. I was 15. Yeah, I was 15 when that ended up happening. And yeah. I think there was more stuff that ended up happening, but yeah. Junior year, I had to do a chemistry assignment, and I remember the exact chemistry assignment. And the thing was, I had to write it all down on paper. And so what ended up happening was is that I had to write out 3 pages of information on cardstock paper. And what ended up happening is I was working upstairs at my dad's house, and what ended up happening is that I ended up working on it, and I got more than halfway done with it, and my dad was thinking that I was way too slow on it, and he ended up saying to me, come on, son, if you're not, like, how do you, like, it was something along the lines of, I don't remember exactly what all he ended up saying in that moment, but I do remember one thing that he ended up calling me in that moment was, he ended up saying, come on, son, if you can't even end up completing chemistry homework, how do you expect to be responsible enough to operate a car? Or how do you expect to be responsible enough to get a driver's license or a driver's permit? And he ended up saying stuff like all of that. Like, he ended up saying like a lot of excuses and a lot of things that you should not say to you should not say to your son. And he ended up saying that I was effing worthless, or excuse me when I say this, but he called me fucking worthless. And the thing is that, yeah, that's not even really the worst part, because the thing is that was junior year, and it only just got worse when it comes down to it. Yeah, what I ended up going through with my dad was, I want to say, like, I'm not at all downplaying y'all's experiences and everything, but like, this is for me, and this is for me to get this off my chest, and to, I want to say, give y'all a reason, or to give y'all a sense of what I've been through. And the thing is that what I ended up going through in the next year was just pure hell. Because what I ended up doing is I ended up being at my mom's house, and I forgot what ended up coinciding it, but I ended up going to the DMV or something like that, and with my mom to do the permit test, the knowledge test. And so what ended up happening is that after I failed the first time by one question, and then the second time I managed to pass. So then after I passed, I told all my friends and everyone, but the thing is that I didn't end up telling my dad. Like, I didn't text my dad about it, because the thing is that I kind of thought that either I didn't want to tell him about it because of what I had been through with what he ended up putting me through with slapping me and calling me fucking worthless, because that really destroyed any level of trust that I had in him. And the thing is that he ended up saying that he was sorry saying to, like, stop being a princess and all that garbage. And the thing is that I never really forgave him, because of the fact that like, I forgave him in that moment, but I did not forgive him eternally, because of the fact that he fully meant what he had said. And there was no reason for him to say, for me to stop being a pussy and all that garbage to a 12-year-old. Yep. And so the thing is that what I ended up going through was it was either that I was between the ages of 10 or 12, but what I ended up remembering was just not really forgiving him, because of the fact that he clearly meant it. And ever since then, like, anytime that he would say that he loved me, I didn't really fully, I guess, accept it, because if you're able to be that absolutely brutal with a kid, it kind of really destroys any of the relationships, like, in the future. And the thing is that what I ended up going through as of lately in the past 2 years was this is kind of why I didn't ended up uploading for a while, because this is a side of me that I never really wanted to reveal to you guys, or to you viewers, because of the fact that I kind of hated what had happened to me as of lately in the past 2 years, because what ended up happening was like, after I was about to tell my dad about the permit, my mom had kind of told him about it, and the thing was that he immediately asked, so where's your permit, or something like that. And because my mom was asking for insurance purposes, and the thing was that I didn't tell my dad because of the fact that I either wanted to surprise him, or I just didn't want to tell him about it at all, because I wanted to either save that for a bigger surprise, to surprise him with me getting him a driver's license, and telling him about that. But the thing was is that, yeah, immediately after he had found out about the fact that I had gotten my permit and didn't tell him about it, he immediately decided to ignore me for 3 days straight, giving me the silent treatment where he would not talk to me at all when we would be in the same room. And yeah, it really destroyed any level of trust that I had in him, because I wanted to surprise him with it, and what I just ended up getting as a surprise was all that. And yeah, what ended up happening after that is also not so good. So, I think there might be even more stuff that my mind knows about, but, I forgot what it is. There's a certain term for, like, psychologists have a certain term for this, where, I forgot where it is, what it is called, but I think it's called, like, dissociative, what do you call that? Dissociative, it's not trauma, but it's a certain type of, psychology term that refers to, people that have memories from their childhood that their mind just blocks out for their own safety. And the thing is that I know my heart and mind ended up doing a lot of that as of lately. Because what I ended up going through, was really bad. And the thing is that I'm a simple kind of guy. I'm simple. Like, if you end up saying, like, a bunch of things to me, like, as an ADHD person, I try to listen, and I try to do what you say, because the thing is that I can literally just be, like, a really good worker or anything like that. And the thing is that, what I ended up having with my dad is that he would give me a lot of confusing commands where he would say, oh, do this, or don't do that. Like, don't do this again. And I'm like, huh? Like, why even say it then? Like, and the thing is that, what I ended up going through was, I think there was a moment where, I forgot what day it was, but, yeah, I kind of almost dealt with a, like, because the thing was that my dad kind of was making a better relationship with me in the past 2 years, and the thing was is that, yeah, for most of the year, or, like, at least for a year now, I haven't talked to him. Well, not necessarily, but, for at least a year now, this is really hard for me to say, but, I'm going to say it later in the video. Just, letting you know, yeah, I really went through a lot that I shouldn't have, and like I was saying, I was depressed, and like I said at the beginning of this video, viewer discretion is advised, because, like, what I ended up going through was, yeah, it was not really at all good for what my dad ended up saying to me on, because the thing was is that we ended up going on a trip, like a vacation, literally last year. And the thing is that I have one particular date in mind because of the fact that it kind of is a pivotal moment in my life. Because honestly, it's a really hard date to swallow because of the fact that every moment past that date I either regret or kind of wonder if I had stopped on that day or if I kept going, that how my life would have been. And the thing is that I wonder every day now, because the thing is that, like, what ended up happening is I ended up going on hikes with my dad, and we were building up to go on a trip to hike Mount Marcy. And the thing was is that what ended up happening was we ended up hiking Mount Marcy, and the thing was that, like, he didn't really like the fact that I ended up being, like, ahead of him by, like, even just, like, the slightest bit. And the thing is that, what ended up happening was he didn't really totally, fully tell me that I was at all being rude that way. And I didn't really notice it until later when he just decides to say a lot of stuff that you shouldn't say to someone if you love them. And now I understand that you have to address it with a person, but you do not say all that stuff to them. And the thing was is that I ended up being on the trip with my dad, and he ended up saying a lot of things that I really kind of struggle to digest every time that I hear them. And the thing is that I ended up going through a severe depression after a lot of the stuff that he ended up saying on one particular day. So there's 2 days in my mind that really ended up being pivotal moments in my life. And, well, those really hurt. And apparently, another thing that my dad did not express to me, apparently, because even though I just had graduated high school, and it's senior graduation, so I'm kind of stressed out of my mind, or like I'm either like celebrating because, hey, I graduated, and like it's kind of my day in that sense. And so the thing was that I ended up saying to my mom and dad was, hey dad, hey mom, I did it. And so what my dad ended up registering that as was, hey dad, hey mom, I did it. And it was such a minuscule thing for him to criticize me for, because I didn't even notice that you could even take it that way. Because I had said it at the same time. Like I had said, hey dad, hey mom, I did it. and he just registered it as like a few seconds of a delay, like as if I didn't care, like as if I wasn't saying that I was giving him any credit at all. And the thing is that honestly, in some ways, he kind of didn't, well, he did do a lot of good things for me, but then the thing is that you can do a lot of good things as a person or a human being, and you can also do a lot of bad things as a human being. And those bad things can really damage a lot in a lot of ways. And the thing is that what my dad ended up saying to me, because I ended up running ahead of him at a water park a lot of the time, because I was excited to be there. I was happy to be there. And the thing was that I just didn't even realize that I was leaving him behind. But the thing was that he ended up saying to me that, like, for me to end up going ahead sometimes. And he didn't, like, really fully express to me that if I did do that, that I would pay for it dearly in a lot of emotional pain. And what ended up happening was that I ended up trying to help him, like, get out of a tube, because I wanted to help him and help me, like, ride more rides together. And the thing was that I ended up pushing on his back a little bit just to help him get out of the tube. And he ended up saying a lot of stuff to me, like, stop pushing on my back or something like that. And I did. And, like, he ended up, like, he didn't even express it until later, but apparently he had an injury, and I had no idea, because he wasn't expressing that he had any pain or anything. And the thing was that he expressed it later in a letter that I ended up writing to him. Like, he ended up expressing it later into a response letter that he sent to me. And the thing was that yeah, he ended up saying a lot of things that you shouldn't say to your son. And the thing is that, like, I get it, that you can be hurting, like, emotionally, because of the fact that you apparently feel like you're being left behind. But the thing was that you told me that I could do that, and that apparently that was just a bad move on my end. And what ended up happening was he ended up, like, not at all talking to me for the rest of the trip, for a good portion of it. And what ended up happening was I ended up doing my ab workout at the hotel. And what ended up happening was that I ended up doing my abs. My dad was not at all talking to me at all. And the whole time that he was not talking to me while I was working out, I could sense it in my heart, and I could sense it in my mind that he clearly was either hurting emotionally or some garbage like that, and he didn't really tell me about it until like later by expressing his self in like the kind of snappy way that he decides to do it, which is really rude. And he ended up not talking to me the whole time when we ended up going to, this is the really hard part, so viewer discretion is advised for this portion, because this is why I've been telling you about everything that I've been through. And this is the portion that I advise for viewer discretion is advised. So, what ended up happening is that my dad ended up taking me to the grocery store, and it's like less than a 5-minute drive, and he didn't talk at all in the car, and he didn't talk at all in the grocery store, and this is what hurt the most for me, because in that last little 5-minute drive going back to the hotel, he ended up tearing into me with like tons of like yelling and a bunch of really expressions of like anger, sadness, not really sadness, but really just anger at me for, apparently he thought that I was not at all expressing myself enough, or expressing myself, because the thing is that I ended up expressing myself in a lot of ways, but like after a lot of the things that he ended up saying to me and doing to me, like I kind of lost the ability to fully express myself, and or like to truly express myself, because of the fact that it just was burrowed in my mind that he had said that I was effing worthless, and for me to stop being a pussy, and the fact that he had slapped me and had told me either that he was sorry or to not tell my mom. And the thing is that what I ended up going through was a severe depression in that car, because my heart, mind, and ears literally all worked together in that moment, because he had been screaming at me. He was screaming at me in the car, and like he was saying a lot of things that I could not remember, because of the fact that I believe that my heart and mind and ears literally all work together to fully deafen my ears. Like, the only thing that I could even hear in that whole 5-minute drive was I could feel the tears running down my eyes, or like running down my face, and I could hear just a high pitch like sound ringing in my ear, along with my heart beating completely erratic. And I think in that moment I was having a panic attack or some type of like stress related attack in my heart and mind. And the thing is that it wasn't until we got into the hotel when the depression really set in, because I remember the day very well that he had said all this on. He had said all this to me on the night of, it was July 24th, 2024. And that's why that's why I'm telling you all about this, because this is what he ended up saying to me. He ended up saying to me that, I don't know how you're going to make this up to me, or I don't know how you're going to make it up to me. And like I want to go home now because I feel like you ruined the trip. And he ended up also saying to me that apologies mean nothing when you know what you're apologizing for. And the thing is that it really hurt, because like I just knew at that moment that I just couldn't make it up to him anymore. Like, I was apologizing to him like constantly during the whole trip, and the thing is that he was clearly expressing to me that every apology that I was saying didn't mean anything. And the thing was that he wanted me to express myself, and the thing was that I wanted to express myself, but I just couldn't do it. And the thing was that because I knew that if I had expressed myself, I knew that he would have just torn into me even more, because everything that I would either say or do, he would always criticize me for. And the thing was that when I ended up like going through all of it, when it ended up coming down to the time when I ended up going to bed in the motel, I ended up texting my mom that I was depressed. And that was kind of gonna be about my last ever text that I was about to ever send. And viewer discretion is advised for this next portion. I'm trying not to cry while doing this, because it's really difficult to go through this. Okay. Yeah. What ended up happening was what ended up happening was we were in New York, and we were going to Secaucus Junction, and the thing was that we were going into the city, and this was after he ended up saying all that to me, that he wanted to go home now because of the fact that he felt like I ruined the trip, and that like, I don't know how you're gonna make it up to me, and apologies mean nothing when you know what you're apologizing for. Now, either way, I don't necessarily fully remember if he ended up expressing that apologies mean nothing when you know what you're apologizing for was said before that day, but I 100% know that he ended up saying it to me. And either way, he ended up saying even more stuff to me that night. And the thing is that I know my heart and mind ended up blocking it out, or just like made me either try to move on past it. But the thing is that I still can't move past it, because the thing is that what my dad ended up saying to me, since I can remember, was as of lately, was what he ended up saying before that or after that was 100%. I know he ended up saying this. No way. He ended up saying that apologies mean nothing when you know what you're apologizing for, before I ended up going to Secaucus Junction with him. So yes, I do remember that correctly. But what he ended up saying to me a lot, often, since, like I said, my parents have been divorced since I was 3. And what my dad ended up saying to me was that the marriage shouldn't have ever happened. And the thing was that he ended up saying that I was his blessing, or like I was supposedly his blessing. And so if I'm your blessing and you treat me like this, how do you think that makes me feel at all? Because if that's how you treat your blessing, then why even ask for a blessing at that rate? Because if you're going to treat your blessing like that from what you 100% prayed for as your blessing from God, if you're going to say that and treat them like that, why? Why even ask for it at that rate? Because what he ended up saying to me was, all of that ended up hurting me in the end, because he ended up saying that, like, all of that, the marriage shouldn't have ever happened between him and my mom. And that hurt, because, like, and the thing is that I know that he had a good life in aspects that I couldn't end up attaining, because he ended up having his parents together until he was, from what I remember him saying, at least until he was at least 20, bare minimum. So his parents divorced when he was like well out of college, or like well out of high school. And so the thing is that I ended up going through, like, I didn't have to go through the divorce like later on in life. I had to deal with it for my whole life. I had to deal with it my whole life. So I don't care what he ended up saying. Like, he doesn't understand what I went through. Because for you to have any understanding of it, it's really difficult to grasp, because I'm mostly a single, like an only child. But the only reason why I'm not an only child is because my sister is like, I have a sister and she's like maybe like 10 to 11 years older than me. But like, it's like, the thing was that, like, for most of this whole process, my sister was like moved out, and like I didn't really have like anyone else like for the whole time that I was going through this severe depression. And the thing was, is that on that day, this is the day that I advise viewer discretion is advised. Because on the day of, July 25th, 2024, that day was going to be my last. That day was going to be my last day alive. And the thing is that on that day, I was going to kill myself because of the fact that I had to be free, because I ended up going through all of that in the previous night, because when he had said all of that to me, it really just ended up eating into my soul and ended up making me severely depressed the whole night that I was asleep. And so on that morning that we were at Secaucus Junction, there was a moment where I think it was like 10 minutes until the train was about to arrive. The whole time that it was about to pull into the station, the whole time I had no fear, no regret, no nothing. I was at peace with myself and every last bit of my life. And the thing was, is that I was ready to die. I was ready to die. Because I had no real, I was being treated horribly the previous night and during the day. And the thing was, is that, my dad ended up saying after that day, he didn't even know a thing that I was going through. He didn't know a thing. Because the whole time that I was waiting for, or that we were waiting for that train to pull into Secaucus Junction, I was 100% ready to jump in front of it. And just to be at peace and to be free of all the suffering that my dad was putting me through. And the thing was, is that it's really hard to say all this, because I'm doing this live stream because of the fact that it's a whole year later, and I kind of wanted to make this whole live stream because of the fact that it's been a year since I would have been dead. And the thing is that I just wanted my story to be heard, because of the fact that I never really ended up fully expressing that until I expressed it in a letter to my dad, because I ended up expressing it to my mom when later on after the trip, because during the remainder of the trip, it was a 9-day trip. When he ended up getting me depressed was on day 4.5. He got me depressed that night, and I had to survive another 4 days, 4.5 days. And it was just hard. It was so hard to survive all that. And every last moment that I was alive past that, it really hurt my mind, because of the fact that every moment past that moment, it was really difficult to process, because what ended up happening in that whole moment that I was considering suicide, um the whole time that I was considering it, or like not even having a fear of it, I was just, it's really difficult to say, but the whole time that I was depressed and going to kill myself at that moment at that train station, Secaucus Junction, um it was in the morning. I remember that. It was before 9:30 in the morning, and yeah, I remember it clearly. It was a Thursday. And the thing is that when I went through it, like when I went through that whole moment um of just processing it, of like thinking, like just waiting for the train to come, um the whole time that I was thinking about it, um like I was thinking about a lot of things that my dad had even said, like that completely screwed up thing that he ended up saying to me. Um, so there's even more stuff that I remember him saying that's really horrible for you to say to anyone. Um, so the thing was is that this happened before graduation. Um, so my grandmother had died on my mom's side, and the thing is that it's really difficult to say this, but see, I know that death is a natural part of life, and the thing is that my grandfather had died on my mother's side of the family, um, literally the beginning of freshman year, like less than a week into high school. Along with that, I had to deal with the COVID-19 quarantine stuff. So, yeah, that was a warm welcome to high school. And yeah, that was difficult for me. Um, yeah, and so I know I can't really fully, full heartedly blame that stuff on my dad because I know death is a natural part of life. But the thing is that it's when you make fun of my grandmother dying, because this is what he ended up saying to me was when my grandmother died on my mom's side of the family, he ended up saying to me that, because the thing was, he ended up saying to me, like, why couldn't she have died a week earlier or a week later? Because the thing was is that he was wanting to have a party or something with me, him, and my grandmother on his side of the family. And the thing was is that we were going to have a party that weekend, and the thing was that my grandmother had died on that weekend, or like literally the day before that week. And the thing was is that my mom was telling me to attend the funeral because since I'm the grandson of her, meant that I had to be a casket holder. So that ended up meaning that I had to show. So what ended up happening was, like I said, my grandmother had died right before graduation for me, and it's fine. I mean, the worst part is that she was going through a lot, And honestly, I want to say that her death was not really as hard hitting as my grandpa's death on my mom's side of the family, because that just hit so hard, because that was the first ever person that I lost in family. And so the thing was is that when my grandmother passed, I at least thought in positive ways. But like, the one thing was is that the whole time that I was going through all this depressing thoughts during that whole like 10 minutes that I was at that train station, the whole time that I was near that edge of that train station platform, the whole time I was thinking about all the stuff that I had just said. And I was thinking about all the things that was like really said to me by my dad. And I literally was thinking about, if it's kind of hard to say this, but I was wanting to die to be released from all this agony that he was putting me through, and also for him to carry all this agony that he put me through. And that's kind of why I was 100% ready to die in that moment. And the one thing was is that as I was thinking about all these things, when I thought of my grandpa and my grandmother, I thought of my mom. And this hurts for me to say this, but what I ended up thinking of was the fact that my sister moved out to Dallas, and so my mom just would have absolutely no one left to be around with her, and I was the only one that would ever be around with her. And so that's kind of why, that's kind of one of the reasons why I continued living, because it really hurt that I went through all of that. That was one of the reasons why I continued living. And I also thought of things like that I haven't watched yet, or that I haven't done, and I was thinking of all my best friends. I was thinking of everyone in my, like, every last one of my friends. I was thinking of everyone that I've ever known attending my funeral, and I was thinking of my mom and everyone. And it's just really hard to say this, but I was thinking of the fact that my dad would probably have said something like, I just couldn't see this ever happening. Like, I couldn't ever foresee this. And the thing was is that I thought of all of that in my mind, and it pissed me off. It pissed me off in my mind, and it filled me with rage. And that's the only way how I was able to continue living, was I had to end up being fully angry in that moment in order to get out of that depressing state that I was in. And so the one thing that I ended up doing after I got angry, because I didn't tell him that I was angry, I just kind of thought of angry thoughts in my mind, and the fact that I had to live to tell this story. And the thing was, is that, like, my dad denies saying all of this. And the one thing is that I remember another thing that my dad ended up, like, he didn't deny it, but he ended up saying it in his letter, was, the thing was that he ended up forcing me to try and do, cross country. And so the thing was, is that, yeah, I was forced into it, and I was trying to, like, enjoy it and everything, but I had ended up experiencing a medical condition known as stitches. And for those of you who don't know that, what that feels like, it is where you have from your hip, all the way from your hip bone, all the way up into your rib cage, all this side, it literally just cramps up. And it literally feels like as if somebody just slit that all the way open and they just try to pull it out of you. And stitches hurt to experience. And it's the only way how it happens is if you have a slight change in your form while running. And the thing is that it's the slightest change. It's like the slightest angle difference. Because honestly, I'd say 90-degree angle is the ideal angle to be at. But the thing was, is that, yeah, what ended up happening for me is the longer I would be running out there, the more that 90-degree angle would become more of like a 87 angle, like 87-degree angle or something like that. And so it'd be a slight difference. And so I would experience stitches, and so I would just end up giving up here and there because of the fact that I just could not go through that pain. And so the thing was that I ended up finding out that apparently there was an actual way to possibly resolve that issue, but it would almost not necessarily fully like ruin the rest of the run, but it kind of would. So you would have to fully have your arms above your head and like fully stretch out. And so the worst part about that is knowing running form, you have to have your arms tucked to your side. And so that would really destroy any of the speed or any of the cadence that you would have. And so what ended up happening was my dad ended up saying this to me was, come on, you're not going to really let your old man beat you, are you? Because the thing was that my dad was honestly a lot better at running than I was, and it sucks that I gave up because of him. Because he put me through so much that it was unreal. I gave up because of all this mental anguish that I went through. Because he tried to get me into running when I was in middle school, like 6th grade and all that, because he wanted me to join cross country team on like 9th grade or something like that. And so I ended up experiencing, like, I ended up giving up on it in middle school, and then I ended up picking back up on it in high school. And so that is when he ended up also making fun of me, and that's when I also gave up on it again because he just put me through so much. Because when we found out how to resolve my stitches issue, I ended up experiencing it, and I was like, no, I'm done. And he ended up making fun of me for experiencing stitches. And the thing was is that, like, right after he was making fun of me for experiencing stitches, I just literally was going to tell him straight to his face that I'm done fully. Like, I am not ever doing this ever again. If you are going to do this to me. And the thing is that I gave up because of him in a lot of ways. And the thing is that I haven't given up on working out in general, because, I mean, I still, like, try to work out, like, at least weekly. Because the thing was that I used to do my ab workouts, like, almost every other day. But I just realized that I was not getting any gains for, like, after, like, I had posted all those photos of my gains on my abs. And the thing was that I wasn't gaining any gains after that, because I was working so hard every day or every other day to the point to where it wasn't doing anything. And so I just laid off of it, and I still work out. Like, I just worked out on Thursday, and I have to work out next Wednesday, bare minimum. And so that's kind of why, like, with a lot of this, like, this is a lot of what I've ended up going through for, like, the longest time. And that's kind of why, like, it's really hard for me to express all this to y'all, because this is what I was going through, and y'all didn't know any of this. And so the thing is that, like, I went through all this and I didn't tell y'all about it. And I'm sorry that, like, I didn't tell y'all about this, because the thing was that I wanted to do this video, like, almost, like, initially, like half a year ago, or, like, something like that. And the thing was is that I just couldn't muster up any level of courage or any of that. And so I'm sorry that I've delayed a lot of videos. And the thing was is that also another reason why I haven't uploaded videos in a while, because I finally got a brand new phone. And that's also another thing that I don't really know if I really want to go into that. But that's kind of a current issue. But yeah. After the whole trip, after I was pissed off at my dad and I continued living past that moment, I apologized to him. And the thing was is that he didn't really fully accept my apology. And the thing was is that that really hurt. And after that, he still did not change at all. Like, as if, like, I hadn't even tried to apologize to him. I tried apologizing to him for, like, the next rest of that day. And then after that, I just gave up. Like, on trying to apologize to him, because the thing was is that he was giving me the silent treatment for so long. I literally just began giving it back to him, because the one thing is that one of the worst things that I was going through during that whole trip, like after that moment, was I ended up going through a lot of nightmares. And during those nightmares, they were more of a release from the real nightmare that I was living in, that I really didn't ever want to live in. But yeah, the nightmares that I kept going through for like the next few days were more calming, or more of a release or a relief to me than real life. And that sucks. That really sucks that I anticipated or really was happy to be in a nightmare in my mind, than to be in real life with a absolute worst scenario with my dad, because that was just awful for me to go through. Because the thing was is that we ended up cutting the whole rest of the vacation short, and we were about to go to Gettysburg, like on the last 2 days, or like the last day. But he said that he wanted to make up for lost time on the road. And the thing was that he ended up saying, like, would you really care if we went to Gettysburg? And I just didn't even respond. And that's kind of why, like, it's really difficult for me. Because the craziest thing is that he would end up referring to a lot of things that, like, I've made mistakes. I'm human. But the thing is that he ended up loving referring to a certain mistake that I made in high school, like in freshman year. And that was that I ended up having a friend that was a girl. And the thing was is that yeah, I don't really ever like mentioning that. But yeah, the thing was that he loves to mention that, but from ninth grade. But he really doesn't like at all mention what else he also did, like what also was his biggest mistake that he did to me. Because the one thing was that he denies ever slapping me in the letter that he made to me. But the letter that I made to him expressed all of this, or like included all of this. And the thing is that like, I'm trying to move forward with my life. And the thing is that it's really difficult to go through all this. And the thing is that I've just continued living, and like, honestly, every day that I've continued living, it's either a blessing or a curse sometimes. It feels like it both at the same time. Because it feels like as if it's really hard to say this, but some days I either regret not ending it, and some days I'm glad that I didn't end it, but like it's really like those days that I like don't regret, like the days that I regret going through all of that are like the days that like I either wonder whether or not if I should have done it or if I shouldn't have. Like those days are really difficult for me because like I wanted to do this video to just show y'all that like I actively care. And the thing is that I actively care about y'all viewers because I mean I haven't showed y'all that I have cared like fully for like the past 2 years because I just ignored y'all in the sense of that I've like been living the rest of my life and I haven't really recorded any videos or anything like that. So one of the things that I ended up hopefully wanting to do was hopefully ending up wanting to do more videos later on after this, maybe live streams more often, but like I hope that like I can manage to get out of this depression because of the fact that one of the things that really prevented me from being able to make any of these videos or just even do this live stream is the fact that my phone that I had, or I still have, hang on a sec, let me go get it, because this used to be my phone. Hang on a sec. So this was my phone. As you can see, it's an Android. Oh, as you can see what day it is and time, as I'm making this video. The thing is that, that phone was limited by, storage in every aspect, and so, like, anytime that I tried to make a video for y'all to enjoy or upload it, I just didn't have enough storage. And so there was moments that I would have a full-fledged video ready to upload, and it just wouldn't allow me to upload to YouTube. And so I wanted to express, like, a lot of this. Like, I wanted to tell y'all about this because I ended up having a severe amount of, depression because of the fact that, like, I just realized I wouldn't ever really be able to do any of this anymore. Because, like, I love doing this. I love recording videos for y'all. And the thing is that, one of the things that sucks is, going through, like, a depression because of the fact that a loved one put you through it, and they've been putting you through it for most of your life, and they never really fully apologized for putting you through it, and they didn't take accountability for it at all, and they decide to say that, oh, that that didn't really happen, or, oh, like, you're just remembering that wrong. Because I remember, like, every last bit of these. Because here's one thing that everyone can agree with. A victim will remember better than a what do you call that? See, a victim in any aspect, like in like a assault, will remember more than the assailant, because they have to live with what the assailant has put them through. And so, like, the thing is that my dad put me through a lot, and I really wish he didn't put me through it. And the thing is that one of the things that was really bad that he ended up doing to me was there was one moment where I was going to go to a funeral for one of my friend's dads, and what my dad ended up doing was, when I told him that I was going to go to the funeral, he ended up showing me a face that clearly showed his real, true emotion on the matter. And it literally was like, how in the world does that affect you or me? And it really sucks that that's kind of like a real accurate summary of my dad in every aspect, because I ended up, like, I didn't even tell him until after he'd made that face, and like, complete full body language expression of that he clearly was saying to me that, how does that affect you or me? And he even said that. And the thing was that I literally ended up saying after that, because that was rude of him to do that, and he ended up saying to me, or I ended up saying to him, that I knew the man, because I did know the man, and it really kind of hurt me internally, because of the fact that, like, I know death is a part of life. And the thing was is that the whole time that I was at that funeral, yeah, it was kind of sad for me to think about this, but I literally thought, how would I have felt if, instead of my best friend's dad there, how would have I felt if my dad had died? And the thing was is that that was an active thought in my mind at that moment, at that funeral. And it was really weighing heavy on my mind, because after a lot of the stuff that he's put me through, like, I try to be, I want to say, I'm not full-fledged Christian yet, but or like, I'm trying to be. I'm trying to, like, be a godly person in that aspect, and I'm trying to forgive my dad, but it's really hard to do that when he just really depresses me. And the thing was that after I sent him the letter, like, I sent him a letter with all this information in it, and he ended up sending me a letter back responding to it, And the letter that I sent to him was 2 pages and a fourth of a page long. And I ended up including some lines in there that I decided to include in there because I knew that that it had to be said, because I knew that he would read my formally written, fully formal letter and not really be affected by it. But when I included that line in there, or like a few lines in there, I included some lines in there because of the fact that one thing that my dad ended up doing to me a lot was mentioning exactly how much something costs whenever I would say that I'm interested in doing that activity. And the thing was is that he would always mention that, and it would always weigh heavy on me because it'd make me think that I'm a burden in that aspect. And it would make me think that I would either, like, that it literally, anytime that I would say that I was interested in something, he would say that that it cost X amount or something like that. And the thing was that anytime that I would say that I was interested in something, it would just be like a match of like, oh, like, are you really fully committed to that? And it would just be really weighing down on me because anything and everything that I would ever want to do, he would always criticize me in that aspect, and he would mention how much it would cost to do that, and he would mention everything. And the thing is that, like, I just didn't want to feel like a burden in that aspect because it would just really destroy me in that aspect, because I didn't want to feel like a, like, just a college debt, or like a like just a massive debt that you're having to pay for. Like, that's kind of what I don't want to feel like. And that's what he made me feel like in every aspect. It was just a burden. And the thing was is that really hurt. And the thing is that I've tried to move on past this. And the thing is that he's given me a lot of stuff from the house that I used to live at with him. And the thing is that probably the only thing that I've really ever decided to use that he gave back to me was probably this blanket. And because everything else that he's given back to me is stuff from my childhood, and it's like childhood toys and all this stuff, and like, sure, it's great to have them, but like, there's like a lot of stuff that he still has that is like highly expensive. Like some of my Lego sets. Like, he still has my Lego sets, and I might have the boxes to the Lego sets, but that doesn't really matter when the Lego set itself costs so much. And the thing is that, like, if I forgot, like, I forgot what it was, but oh, what was it? But yeah. So as I was saying, I sent a letter to him that was 2 pages and a fourth long. And in that letter, after that letter, he sent me a letter that was 13 pages long. And the whole thing was him denying everything that I had said, or everything that I had wrote down that he had said to me and done to me. That was physically abusive and emotionally and verbally abusive and manipulative in every aspect. And the thing is that, it really ended up hurting in a lot of aspects. And, it's really difficult to say all this stuff right now. Because I still care about my dad. I love my dad, but, it's just hard to really love someone if they're going to put you through all this pain. And the thing is that I'm kind of going through, or I've kind of been through similar situations. But, the thing is that, after I received his 13-page letter, I put it off for pretty much put it off for a whole total of a month. And the thing was that my dad kind of gave up on me ever coming back by Thanksgiving. He gave up on me by Thanksgiving. When Thanksgiving rolled around, literally the day after it, he decided to drop off a lot of my stuff at my mom's house. And so, yeah, most of the stuff that I have at my mom's house now is from my dad's house also. And so one of the things is that I'm glad that I've got most of my stuff from my dad back, but there's still stuff that my dad has that I really wish that I got back. And it sucks that he still has my Lego sets, but granted, I'm gonna try to it's really hard to say this, but I've tried to forgive him, but it's not the matter of forgiving him. It's the matter of it being the issue with him, because he hasn't changed as a person, because all he's going to end up doing is repeating mistakes and repeating the past and repeating everything that I told him not to do to me, because I know that's who he is. He's going to repeat all this stuff. It's an issue that he ended up having with me. And the thing is that he would end up saying to me, I forgot what it was, where he ended up saying that I don't express myself enough, or that I don't express myself. And the thing was that, sure, I didn't express myself, and I admit that. I didn't express myself until it was too late. And I expressed myself literally after, way after it desperately needed to be said, because it hurt in every aspect, but it's better. It's for the better of my life. And the thing is that after, after I separated from my dad, like cut off my dad, I kind of became really a lot closer friends with one of my best friends, Rhett. And the thing is that like he was another reason why I continue living. And also my ex best friend was also another reason why I continued living. Also, that reminded me of another ex best friend that yeah, I cut them off, but yeah, I don't really like mentioning what I ended up going through with them. And yeah, I don't like going into that topic because my ex-best friend was my ex-best friend that I don't really like mentioning too often was not really in one of my videos, but he kind of ended up saying something towards the end of one of my videos. I think it was like I think it was one of my videos. I think it was like the wheelbarrow video where it was like a joke video that I made, and he ended up saying something towards the end of the video, or like, I don't know if it ended up getting into the final cut of the video, but he ended up saying some stuff or something like that, and it wasn't necessarily that it wasn't necessarily bad stuff that he was saying. He was just having like a normal conversation with one of my friends. And the thing is that my ex-best friend, he's a man, and the thing is that he ended up, let's just say, my ex-best friend I used to have sleepovers with, and so here's the reason why he's my ex-best friend now, is because he decided to become, I want to say, he became two things that, now I don't necessarily have an issue with either one, but it's just the fact that it would just concern me, because it would just make me feel like an option, you know what I'm saying? Because he came out as bisexual, and the only people that he was dating were men, and he also came out, or like he said that he liked furry arts, or like furry fan fiction art, and yeah, I'm not gonna go fully in depth on that, but let's just say he really liked Umbreon or something like that, and not in a wholesome way. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that. And he also liked Has Been, like Has Been a Hotel, and Hell of a Boss, Full-Heartedly. And no, I didn't really necessarily have an issue with that, but it's just he ended up like showing me some of the art that he was into, and I was like, no. Because, I mean, I can appreciate some art, but, like, some of the art that he was just showing me, I was just not into. But, yeah. And, but those two things were my main concern because of the fact that, I just didn't want to feel like another option for him while I would be sleeping over at his house for him to do anything to me. And yeah, that's kind of why we kind of became ex-best friends. So, and then also another thing is that I went through another relationship, or I went through two relationships. Yeah. Uh yeah, both of them kind of ended in breakups, but yeah, they didn't hurt as much as all the previous stuff that I've mentioned. But yeah. Hope you have a great rest of your day, viewers. Yeah. Later, viewers. Also, hang on a sec. I haven't gone through any of the chat that y'all have posted. And oh, someone's birthday was today. Tonight. Okay. Which one is better? Messi or Ronaldo? If you answer correctly. Is it wrong? Get out of here. What are you talking about? Tough times? Oh. Why are you mad? It's gonna be alright. Yeah. It'll get better, bro. How are you? How are you, buddy? What the? Did somebody just say you smoke green ganja? No, I do not, but good guess. My voice is deep because of the fact that I'm like 20 years old. And I'm kind of depressed that sometimes. Jesus gives his hardest fights to his strongest warriors. That is true. It'll be okay. It's gotta get better soon, somehow. Such as what? Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear, man. Therapy, my brother. YouTube live is nice and all, but you need true therapy. I've been to therapy, and the thing is that they literally said that I couldn't mention any of the stuff that I was mentioning about suicide. And yeah, because they said no suicidal thought, like no mention of suicidal thoughts. We can't help you on that. Oh, Braylon. Sweet. Howdy ho, bro. Just popped in a few minutes ago. I'm really sorry to hear that, but I'm glad that you're moving forward, bro. Life has so much to offer, bro. Thank you, Philip. I'm really glad that you left that. Thank you. But yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day, viewers. Yeah, this was a lot that I went through. But one thing that I'm also gonna show y'all, viewers, that kind of got from one of the relationships that I went through, or whether or not to consider it a relationship fully, because the relationship that I've been through with, like, it's kind of hard to say this, but I still love her, and the thing is that I still love and care about her, but the thing is that like, she broke my heart, and she wanted me back less than a day later, and it just, like, my mind mentally cannot go through any more pain that's similar to what I've been going through. And I know that that's what would happen. Or I don't necessarily know if that would fully happen, but, like, I know that mistakes happen, but, like, past repeats itself sometimes. And I don't want to go through all this past that I've been going through. Like, I don't want to be repeating all this past. And yeah, this is kind of what I ended up getting from the most recent relationship that I've been through. This is honestly one of the best gifts that I've ever gotten from a loved one. And honestly, I still love her, though. I miss her. And like, I don't really necessarily, like, want to do this, but I kind of am having to think about it, because if I go through this again and again, like, I can't just constantly forgive and forget everything, and for, like, boundaries to be pushed, and for me to just be walked all the way over. But one of the best things that I ever got out of the relationship was, this was literally within, like, I think it was like the first month. I think it was within the first month. This is what I got from my girlfriend, and I'm honestly glad that she got me this, because she knew exactly how slow my phone was, how slow this phone was, and she knew exactly that I was struggling with storage issues and processing speeds and problems at every corner because of storage issues. And the thing is that like, she bought that for me, and I honestly was kind of speechless, but, like, I definitely expressed that I loved the gift and I was thankful for it. But yeah, honestly glad that my girlfriend managed to get this for me in, like, the first month, and I was surprised that she got that for me. And, like, I'm glad that she got that for me, and I still care about her. But yeah, 4th of July was when my girlfriend kind of decided to do that. And she didn't really necessarily state why until later. And she said that she didn't really necessarily want to state why, because of what other people were saying her, like, for her to do and all this. But I mean, you don't. Alright. I'm just gonna end the live stream. Alright. Alright. Later, viewers. Hopefully I will see y'all viewers, hopefully later on in life. I mean, like, I'm honestly glad that y'all still are here with me, and that, like, it's been a rough year for me, like, in the sense of that I realize that every day that I've lived 365 days. I lived a whole year past my death date, and it's hard to grasp that, but there it is. And I had to tell y'all about it. And so hopefully with this new phone and with a lot of this revealed to y'all, hopefully y'all accept that, like, I might not always be positive or happy all the time in every aspect, because I wanted to be happy in every one of my videos, but I mean, it's difficult to hide behind a mask. It's difficult to do that. So I wanted to reveal that to y'all, that I do care, and that I want to do a lot more live streams more often, and to end up, I guess, just doing a lot more with y'all viewers. Like, I'm hoping to end up doing gaming videos soon, or like to just end up doing like what I ended up promising to do, like end up doing a cooking video of me doing an omelet. Like, I just really want to do that after everything that I promised, like, over 2 years ago. Like, 2 years ago, like, I honestly loved me 2 years ago because of the fact that even though I still had school and everything, I was still producing videos. But the thing is that I was not necessarily fully going through all this. Like, I wasn't processing all this depression that I was going through until, like, it finally all fully stacked up, and it just broke me almost. And the thing is that, like, I went to a therapist and they didn't really do anything to me. Like, they didn't really do anything for me. And that's kind of why, like, I decided to film this whole live stream. And so, yeah. Later, viewers. I hope you have a great rest of your day, viewers. I hope to end up doing a live stream later. Probably if I end up doing a live stream, I hope that I end up doing a live stream. I hope. Soon. Hopefully a live stream of me cooking or gaming, because, I mean, y'all have already seen what TV I have for gaming. And the thing is that, like, honestly, there's been even a lot more stuff that, like, kind of also depressed me, like, that kind of were happening behind the scenes, like celebrity stuff, like, not really stuff that fully affected me, but, I mean, like, there's been, like, a lot of stuff that happened recently. Like, if I remember correctly, there was, like, 3 celebrities that died, like, I want to say that there was, like, 3 celebrities that died, like, this week. What was it? Like, oh, shoot. Someone died on, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I forgot who all died, but, I know 2 of them. I forgot the first one, but, rest in peace to y'all that, have died, and, rest in peace to everyone that has died. Like, I'm not going to say that, like, that their death is, like, a lot above everyone else's. I mean, like, death is death. Death will come for anyone. And it honestly, I feel like, was coming after me that day. And the thing is that, I escaped its grasp. And, I continued living. And some days I wish that it kind of took me, but, other days I don't. Like, I'm kind of glad that I didn't let it take me. But yeah, later, viewers. Hope to see y'all later. Alright, I hope you have a great rest of the day, viewers. And I honestly feel a lot more happy to have revealed this to y'all. Alright, later, viewers. I hope you have a great rest of the day.